Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at a Walther pistol, the model PPX, or Police Pistol Extreme. Now, Walther, we've recently had a chance to take a look at a few different Walther pistols, thanks to Mishiko over at Ozark Bear Arms. So we're very thankful for him to give us a chance to take a look at these, because I've tried to get Walther firearms for quite some time and have been very, very unsuccessful. Now, the pistol that we're looking at here has been unavailable. It was discontinued in 2016. It was made from 2013 to 2016. It's basically a police duty model pistol. Now, it's a very interesting pistol, to say the least, mostly because of the trigger, but we're going to get to that. So we're going to take a look from the top to bottom, and we're going to see what makes this pistol very, very interesting. Now, first off, if we take a look at it, you got one weird-looking pistol grip on here. Now, oddly enough, this pistol grip, as strange as it is extremely comfortable the way that it fits in your hand. It's very futuristic. So I guess you take a look at the Colt 2000, for instance, and the Walther guns in general utilize these very strange, type of grip angles, but they're very, very comfortable. Magazine, we have a 16-shot magazine, double column magazine. It's a steel magazine, a polymer frame gun. And the gun, we have a polymer frame, which is very, very common, obviously. This is the new generation of more steel frames. But oddly enough, due to the fact the way this pistol is made, this is not plus P or plus P plus rated. And we're going to see that once we start taking it apart. Now, what really makes this gun unique is its trigger. Now, the trigger, if you notice on the back here, we do have a hammer. Now, according to Walther, they call this a double action only pistol. Now, this is anything but double action. In fact, it's more like an LEM type where you have a two-stage trigger. Now, traditionally a double action trigger, you're looking at least 10 pounds, and you're also looking at double strike capability. Well, if you notice, when we pull the trigger and fire, we don't have a double strike capability. So what that tells me is this is not a double action. This is far more of a, I guess you want to call it a two-stage trigger, because this pistol is not striker fired. It is hammer fired. But when you pull a trigger back, you basically have a first stage, and then you have a very short drop, and it's a relatively light pull after that. So it's really more of a two-stage type trigger, not double action. It's not even like Glock where you have a striker fire. That's not what this is. But I have to say, when you shoot this gun, the trigger is extremely accurate. I had no problem getting off quick shots, accurate shots with it. However, as I said, the benefits of having that hammer on there is having a double strike capability, which really defeats the purpose of having a hammer, at least in my opinion anyways. Now, you look at the frame. We have your magazine release on your right-hand side. You have your slide stop or slide release. Now, this is not ambidextrous. This is only on the left-hand side. You get your trigger guards. You have some gripping on the front of the trigger guard. We also have a 1913 rail multi-slots. Now, looking at the slide we have a stainless steel slide, which is made of multiple components, which we're going to see once we take it apart. Now, the finish you have on here is Tenefer. Now, those of you who are familiar with Glock pistols know what Tenefer finish is. It's an extremely hard diamond-like finish. Now, that finish was originally done on the Glock pistols that were made in Austria. Glock had to switch that up once they came to the U.S. because due to our EPA regulations, we couldn't do that here in the U.S. So Glock had to go with a finish that would be able to be utilized in their plant that they have here in the U.S. So they would be using the same finish. You wouldn't have one finish for Austrian pistols and one for American-made pistols. Where the Walther pistols are manufactured in Germany, so you don't really have to worry about having those kind of issues. The sights we have on here, we have a 3-dot sight system. We also have a very low snag type sight on here. Now, looking at the top of the barrel, we're looking at a 4-inch barrel. They do have two barrels that are utilized. You have a standard 4-inch, and you also have a suppressor length, which is a 1/2 by 28 threads. This particular one here has the standard length 4-inch barrel. Now, looking in the top here, you will see there's a little notch cut in here. Now, what this is utilized for is a loaded cartridge indicator, a loaded chamber indicator. Now, due to the fact of how small that hole is, sort of utilizing a flashlight, it's very difficult to see if there's a cartridge in there. So it's for all the good it is, it's pretty useless. Looking at the right side, you do see we do have a reversible magazine release as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing apart, take a look at the inside, because that's what really makes this thing interesting. Okay, for disassembly, lock to the rear. Now we're going to drop down the disassembly latch release lever. And we're going to move that right forward. Now, due to the fact this is not a striker, you do not have to fire the trigger mechanism first. Now, looking at the frame, we'll see we have your ejector. We see we have a drop-in module. Very, very simple mechanism. You do have 4 good-sized rails on here, so the slide's held on extremely secure. And we can utilize, you can see our hammer here as well. That's the way that it moves back and forth. So now we're going to get some interesting aspects of it. So disassemble, you have a recoil spring, which is basically your flat recoil spring utilized in Glocks. Now the flat recoil springs, you have more bearing the surface on them, so you have a more durable and a longer lasting spring. You do have, obviously, it's captive with a plastic spring guide. Now we have the barrel. Now, first we're taking a look at is the slide. As you can see, we have a pin in here, so we have multiple components in here rather than just a single machine steel slide. You can see here we also have the firing pin safety. Now there's two safeties on, a couple different safeties on here. You have two different drop safeties, and you have the firing pin safety. Firing pin safety is obviously your most important due to the fact that the trigger has to be pulled all the way to the rear for you to be able to fire. Very good machining in here, but again, you can see the cross pin here, and you can see the insert that we have in here. Now, looking at the barrel, this is an extremely interesting part of this pistol due to the fact that it's manufactured from 3 pieces rather than having manufactured from a single piece of steel. So basically you have a MIM locking surface, or metal injected molded locking surface. You have the barrel, and then you have the feed ramp, which is manufactured from steel. So those are your 3 components. Now looking at the barrel, this is very interesting, because if you look at, you have a very large chamfer on here. Now this is due for reliability reasons. This is extremely unique, I can't say as I've ever seen it before. Now, due to the fact that this barrel is not manufactured from one piece of steel, it is not plus P or plus P plus rated. Granted, there's no SAMI spec for plus P plus, but there is for plus P. So this is designed for standard ammunition. And you can also see your cut that you have in here for the loaded chamber indicator. Your rifling on here, this is your standard landing groove rifling, as opposed to the hammer forged polygon type rifling you see in most. So now we're going to take a look at reassembly. Very simple. Drop your barrel right back into your slide, lock position. Insert your recoil spring. So we're looking at an overall weight of 26.9 ounces, or it's a relatively lightweight pistol. And you're looking at a height of 5.6 inches, and that you also have a very long pistol grip on here as well. Now, probably the thing that I disliked the most about this was the extremely high bore axis. High bore axis means how far your slide is from the center of your hand. You can see how high this is. This is very similar to like a SIG pistol. The whole point in having a lower bore axis is to allow more of the energy to go into your arm versus to have it offset. So that gives you less muzzle flip, more controllability. And pretty much all of the Walther pistols have this relatively high bore axis. So we're taking this to the range now. We're going to see how it shoots. Reliability was stellar, 100%, no matter what ammunition it was put in it. We did use some Gecko, some Norma ammunition, Black Hills, as well as some SIG ammunition. High hollow points reliability was stellar, no problem. Combat accuracy also was no issue. Now we're looking at cost. You're looking at $449 versus $499. $499 is going to be a stainless steel slide versus the black slide. Also, you have the additional cost for having the ability to suppress with the longer suppressed barrel. Now, overall, this is really a nice pistol. The trigger is unexpectedly very well. Unfortunately, this pistol is no longer in production, but you can still see them out there. They're still for sale, whether it's be on the used market or whether it's on new old stock. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share, and please consider being part of our Patreon. Thank you.